Milwaukee. That means I love you. Welcome to the check-in on WNOV 860 AM. I am one of your hosts, Kweku Dr.Alisia.
And I'm Dr. Alisia Moutry and excited to check in mentally, physically, and spiritually.
Hey, we in here with Jermaine and Clark doing
Yes,
the
sir.
thing.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
Yes,
as in
sir.
tradition of the ancestors, it is customary that we get permission from the elders to speak. We've been granting that permission and we've gotten a prayer. So I feel so ready to get on with this show. When we started to think about, today, what are all of the things that we want to do? I just think as we talk serious for a moment, like with ICE, one of the things that makes me the most nervous about ICE is their ability to be able to be so secretive.
Yeah.
They get to wear masks. They don't have to identify themselves. And because of this, other people who are perpetrators of the game understand that too. And they get to use this for other type of, unscrupulous type of actions. People have literally been kidnapped because they've been under the threat of ICE and they just have been conditioned to go. And I think this kind of leads right into our show. I know we usually do a lot, but this is one of those shows where it's just like, with my heart, we just want to get into. And when we talk about how do we keep people safe, how do we make sure that people stay educated, this is a topic that's, like I said, very near and dear to my heart. And I think as a father, when you have young girls, you get worried in a different manner. Like we talk about Black mothers who are nervous when their sons leave the house because of the police and things. I think even though human trafficking, and that's the topic we're talking about today, has so many different variations. You can do it for somebody harvesting organs, somebody want to get sold, or somebody want to get labor and things of that nature. But when we talk about it in this thing, we talk about specifically stealing in parts of a sex trade, sex industry, and you be so amazed to learn how quickly it starts at that age of 13. And I remember when I first really started to get into it, it was several ladies that I really looked up to that kind of set the framework for Milwaukee, at least in my eyes. Dana World Patterson. I look at Nancy Yarbrough. I look at Samantha Collier. I look at Rosalind McLean, and then Chandra Cooper.
Dr.
And these are,
Shandra.
yes, these were ladies, like, because when you come in, especially from a man's standpoint, you kind of step back and allow them to kind of talk, tell their stories, and just see how you could be an asset, to be a benefit, to be an ally in that sense. And one of the things, Chandra, I don't know if I ever told you this, but what I really appreciated about you is I had a TV show and we would go off and it's like, yeah, come on, do the camera, bring it around. But we got to go to every session because of this. And we just kind of jump into it. At least you're gonna get the inside of you and do that. But I think about, your program, Stay Out of the Game.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember doing this back before COVID.
Yeah.
So this is something like that you've been doing intensely. Before we get into who you are, just talk about like Stay Out of the Game and some of the things I talked about, why this is so important for you to continue to put this message out year after year after year.
Yeah. So thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be here. And thank you for allowing us to be here. So as you know, this month is Human Trafficking National Month. And so we wear blue in honor of victims and survivors. And so Stay Out the Game has been around for 9 years. It's been 9 years that we have been imparting in this community and educating and showing what prevention and awareness looks like. And so I got into this business or industry because of people in my family that have actually been in human trafficking. In full transparency, my father was a pimp, and I had family members who were trafficked. And so in knowing that, this is near and dear to me because, this kind of started like at his funeral for me, just seeing the sheer number of women that were there. And I really didn't know them, but they all knew me and they knew of my name. And so just looking at that just made me feel like, I want to do something different. I want to help people in a way that my father was not able to do. And he did not do because he was a predator. But then I also wonder, like, what happened to him as a child? And so it's been my mission. It's been my God purpose to just be out here and helping people. And so my target audience is helping young people, because if I can impart in them an education and awareness, then we've done our job. And so I came up with the name Stay Out the Game One-on-One. So it's like a beginning course of how do you stay out of this game? How do you stay out of this game of being in trafficking, of being a victim? And so it's all around education. It's very purposeful. We are sensitive, and everything moves like in a very trauma informed way as well, so that we are protecting the people that we are trying to help.
Well, first, I just want to say thank you so much for being able to take what you've been through and not just keeping it there, but being willing to say, now that gave me a purpose. Because a lot of people can sit on it and say, I'm comfortable, I'm not a part of it, but that's okay. But I love the fact that you've taken what you've been through and turned it into a mission and a purpose. So, first of all, thank you for that. I know that I know you, Sandra Cooper, my link sister, very popular around the city, but maybe there's some folks in the listening audience that don't actually know who you are. So, could you just give us a little background about who you are? Were you born here in Milwaukee? The school? Like, give us some background information about who you are,
Sure.
Dr. Cooper.
Originally, I am from Illinois.
Okay.
I grew up in part of the city of Chicago, but the suburbs of Chicago.
Okay.
My great grandfather is McKinley Morganfield Muddy Waters. And
Oh.
so I was blessed to have him in my life. And he was kind of like a protector to me.
Yeah.
And so some of the things I did not see a lot of the things that some people in my family did, or my father, because he was kind of my protector. And so I had a really, I would say, a grateful life. I've been grateful all of my life. And so went to school in Chicago, Columbia College, then got my master's degree at Concordia. Then I got an honorary doctorate, and then I graduated with my doctoral degree from Alverno in May.
Come on.
Congratulations.
In what area?
Congratulations.
In
what area?
education.
Come on.
Yeah.
And you got your master's in mental health, though, correct?
Yes, in professional counseling.
So no, the reason why I say that is because when I first talked to you, I remember like I was kind of like brought in as a psychologist, and I
Mhm.
see so many of the ladies that was kind of in that thing do so much in the mental health
Yeah.
space. And I said between lived experiences and then you combine that with like the academic jargon that separates us, is there anything that you learned in your education though that you said, hey, you know what, this helped me even more, or it just kind of gave me a name to some of the stuff I already was doing?
Yeah, I think the professional counseling degree was very helpful because there is a lot of mental health involved in the people that we serve and their traumatic experiences as well. And so, really understanding that field helps be a great advocate, and also just helping, day to day people as well, as
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
So I guess my thing is to kind of going back to the stay in the game
Mhm.
101. What I
Stay
love
out the
stay
game.
Stay out of it.
Stay
You don't
out of
wanna
the
We're
get in
staying
it.
out the
You say
game.
stay out of the game. Thank you so much. When we talk about that though, you have so many different courses. You have so
Uh-huh.
many different people come. Can you tell us about some of the workshops you've had over the years and some of the things that you say we're going to keep this? This is not going, but then this is how it's evolved, and we're bringing this in as this year goes.
Yeah. So every year, what we do is we talk about boundaries,
Yeah.
healthy
Mhm.
relationships.
Mm.
We talk about online safety because it's so important.
Yes.
We always have a self defense class.
Yeah.
And so this year, specifically, I have created a curriculum, a
Okay.
human trafficking prevention curriculum, stay out the game curriculum. It's a 6-week class that's 60 minutes, and it's 6 different modules. And so we're going to be incorporating that this year.
I
In
love
addition
that.
to that, we created a online app for youth,
Mm.
and the Stay Out the Game one-on-one app as well. And so those are the new things that we're incorporating. So this platform is growing. Also, we plan on moving outside of Milwaukee as well, because
Mm.
I think that we need it all throughout the state of Wisconsin.
Yes. It's
And
in
then-
all 72 counties. So
Yes, human trafficking has been found in
Yeah.
all 72 counties. And so for us, it's just a matter of making sure that our topics are very current, they're very relevant. There's activities involved as well. And so that's how the workshops are set up. The kids really like the self-defense class as well.
hey, I love that because I think that's one of the things say I'm not going to be a victim. Sometimes
Yeah.
we talk about how a person can be kind of forced into it, but you say, hey, if I don't have to be forced into it, I have some ways to protect myself. I see we got a call already. So caller, welcome to the check-in. Do you have a question or a comment?
Yes, I do, sir. Good morning.
Good
First
morning.
time talking
Good
with you.
morning.
Good morning, young lady. Tyrone W. speaking. Good morning again, Mr. Ryder. Good morning, Milwaukee. First time talking with you this year, Kweku. So blessing George New Year
No,
to
it's
you and your
good to hear your
family.
voice.
Happy New Year.
Love you. Thank you, and you as well, young lady. A couple different things. I didn't want to, sideline the efforts of the conversation and all, but I think that talking to Keith earlier about trauma. Uh, well, first of all, I'll just say this: how and you can answer it because I how difficult. I mean, someone's been traumatized. Oh man, how difficult is it to recover from trauma? But then, just to give you a synopsis real quick, let's just say nicotine withdrawal. Where okay, the person got arrested. Let's say Friday, and they won't see the judge until tomorrow. But they're having nicotine withdrawal. Is that jail situation? Are they responsible for them if they go into nicotine withdrawal, seizure, or being traumatized from nicotine withdrawal? So that's what I'm saying. I mean, there's so many levels to trauma and uh, different medical conditions. I mean, if this person goes into seizures because of nicotine withdrawal, you're responsible for them because they're in your custody. It's just like with Sandra Bland. I mean, how she wind up dead, and so somebody lying somewhere to begin with. But yeah, I mean, I'll let you unpack it. But I'm struggling. Yeah, we got to do a lot to recover from trauma. But I mean, it seems like once you get from underneath one rock, you're right up underneath another rock because you're incarcerated. But then I'm having nicotine withdrawal, and I'm having seizures. So I don't know. I don't know if that quite fits together as a puzzle, but do the best you can with it. Thank you. Thank you. God bless. Love you both. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for the call. Well, we know undoubtedly this is why we want to keep people out of the game, is because of the level of trauma that happens. Sometimes it's a level of trauma that happens at home that can kind of draw people into the game because they're running away from something else, and that seems like it could be there. But to your point, number one, whenever a person is incarcerated, the state is 100% fully responsible for their emotional, mental safety, well-being. So whether it's a withdrawal from nicotine or from heroin or crack or whatever it may be, they're responsible. Nicotine doesn't have that hard of a withdrawal for the first 24 hours, more of a person jonesing. But as it relates to the other levels of trauma, you are absolutely correct. There are layers and layers and layers. And one of the things that Sister Cooper has said before when she came on, she was talking about like when certain things happen in a person's life, it's not always like, why are you doing this? But what has happened to you? Because sometimes we see people express a hurt, but that's kind of built up on some of the things on how they've been hurt and defensive coping mechanisms they did. So the first thing to heal trauma is we have to acknowledge it. And a lot of people don't want to acknowledge it because that means they have to go back down that hard pain. But once you acknowledge it, it's still a difficult path because you got to do work. And as you said, Tyrone, once you think you've covered over one area, it's other areas to cover. And so I think, like, as a therapist, what we try to tell people is therapy and recovery doesn't happen overnight. It's a long process. It's going to be ups and downs. But if we continue to do the work, this is a thing where it's not necessarily that time heals wounds, but time plus effort, what we do begin to get us to a better place than where we are. Will we ever be 100% total? Nobody can guarantee that. But we can say if we do the work, we can make it just a little bit better than what it was. Anything you want to add or say to that?
No, what I was thinking about, just that whole word trauma. It starts here, and it's like that snowball effect as well, right? So we think about it, one thing may happen, but then as time goes on, there's consequences of that, and more stuff happens as a result of that trauma. And so that made me just sort of go back to the topic of human sex trafficking. Besides trauma, what are some of the problems of human sex trafficking?
When you say some of the problems, like, what do you mean problems?
I just wanted you to describe some of the problems. What, if you think about it, what are some of the things that happen that make it a crisis in our city?
Yeah. And so there are a number of reasons of why it's a crisis in our city, but I can talk to you about how people get into.
Yeah, let's go for it.
And why it's a problem. So examples. There's a lot of young people who use the internet, as we all know.
Yeah.
And as they're using the internet, there are predators that are watching them. And AI is becoming a huge problem. And so you may think you're talking to one person, but you're really talking to somebody completely different, and they are being predators. And so with all of these apps, there are new apps that are coming out every day that we can't track, that we're not tracking. I can give you an example. There's a young lady that I talked to about 2 weeks ago, and we were asking her, how did she get some money? How do you get this money? And so she says, well, I'm on this app. And we're like, okay, tell us about the app. She goes, I put my makeup on for the app, and I just do demonstrations. And I'm like, there's an app that you do makeup demonstrations and somebody pays you. And I'm like, how are they paying you? Oh, they're paying me PayPal and Cash App. I'm like, well, what's the name of the app? So we looked into it, and it's some brand new dating app. And she doesn't see the people that she's talking to, but all of this is that's human
It's a
trafficking.
grooming.
And
Yeah,
they're
grooming.
grooming
There you go.
her.
Yeah, all I
Yeah.
was thinking was like OnlyFans, but like
Yeah.
in a grooming type of way where you think that what I'm doing is innocent. I don't see
Yeah.
the harm,
Right.
And she doesn't
understanding what
see
it
any
could
harm.
come.
She's like, all I'm doing, Miss Cooper, is putting on my makeup and they're watching me.
And let's go back
No.
to, and I'm getting paid.
And I'm getting
Mhm.
paid.
Right.
And they know exactly what they're doing. She doesn't realize what they're doing. And they're grooming her. And so
Yeah.
the next step is, let's meet.
Mm.
And then the next step is,
Mhm.
then they introduce her to drugs. And then the next step is, we don't see her anymore.
Yeah, and and I think that's one of the ones that, like, when we look within our community, that always hurts my heart. Like, whenever I'm looking on the news and they say a young lady is missing, in my mind's like they somebody got her,
Yeah.
and it's like not necessarily like a kidnapping in the old form of the days, but like in form of human trafficking, where you say it's just a pattern. It's so predictable. I go through the gas stations at night, like if
Mhm.
you're out and you see, that's like one of the hot spots and whatnot like that, and you look and you see. And as we travel throughout the country, you'll always see on the billboards, like if you see something, say
Say
something. They have
something.
these numbers that's plastered. We have the Super Bowl coming up, and
Mhm.
that's the biggest human trafficking event in the world. And we know it, and we don't do anything about it. So I say that to ask you this: how frustrating is it that we know we're not going to stop drugs, we're not going to stop weapons, and human trafficking is kind of in that. But one
Yeah.
thing that Dana Award Patterson says that I love it. She says one less.
Yeah.
Like we gonna save this one right here. What gives you the energy and the hope to still do it when the whole thing
Yeah.
as a whole is complicit with the
It's
people
a
who are
trillion
supposed to
dollar
helping us?
industry, right? And so, how do you stop a $1 trillion industry? You really can't stop it. It's going to go on. It's going to be here probably to the day I die.
Yeah.
But I get hope and I get inspiration just one day at a time, one person at a time.
Yeah.
And so, something like this, a Stay Out the Game one-on-one event, it's that one person, one day. And so if we can just inspire one person, one youth, and that one person can go tell somebody else, then we've
Mhm.
done our job.
Yeah.
Because this is an industry. I mean, the sex industry is big and human trafficking is big. And we know that. I mean, we
Yeah.
look at what happened with the Epstein case.
Yeah.
We see what's going on right now in the world.
Mhm.
I mean, and so our job is not to, I would love to say that I want to, and I can eradicate
Uh-huh.
human trafficking. That's not going to happen. But I think what we can do in our community and people that we are around is to arm them with education, arm them with the prevention skills, and teach. That's all we can do in our community,
Yeah.
and
But
hope for the best.
and I'll say this because I know we're headed towards a break. But one of the things that I love about it is I remember I came and I did the television show, and you gave me a lot of T-shirts, and I was able to take it back to my fraternity brothers and have that message again with the people who you say we got to make sure that we're bigger allies. I remember taking a picture with the shirt on saying we're going to do something, then we fail. So it's some things, man, that you're listening. A lot of times we say, oh, I don't like this. Then the question is, what are we going to do about it? And we're going to keep talking about it. So in between these breaths, I want you to think about it. But we're going to be back on the other side with Chandra Cooper. We're talking about stay out of the game one-on-one. We'll be right back on the check-in.
Back. You're listening to the check-in. I'm Dr. Alisia Moutry, my host, Dr. Kweku, and we are joined today with Chandra Cooper. We're talking about human sex trafficking, and we're talking about not how to get in the game, but how to stay out the game. How to stay out the game. This is a game you do not want to be involved in. This is a game you do not want your
Right.
children involved in. You don't want your grandchildren involved in. And so, speaking of that, Chandra, we'd love for you to talk a little bit about like who are some of the people that you are supporting, helping age-wise, gender-wise. Who are you actually providing your efforts to?
So most of my services are for women and girls, but we also help boys as well. Our target population is between the age of, for the girls, 11 to like 18. And then for women, we go all the way to like 19 up until 50 something. And so, how do we help them? We have housing, we have preventative services,
Mm.
we have counseling, we have mentoring, and we also have case management. And so we do that throughout the entire city of Milwaukee. But in addition to that, we have some funding that we actually work in this area called Target Area 5, which includes like Rock County, Ozaukee County, and Madison as well. And so we provide those extensive services to that entire population of people. And it's very broad. So we work with Department of Children and Family, and also with Department of Justice through VOCA with some grant dollars, and so we're able to work with that group of people. In addition, I'm really big on partnerships, and so some of the people that you mentioned
Mhm.
earlier, we are in partnership with, and so we collaborate together on a multidisciplinary team
Oh.
that's about human trafficking. And so while my company alone just can't do that, with our partnership we can do it. And so we work with many people within the city.
So when you think about this, what are some misconceptions that people have when they hear it? You know, we all have stereotypes.
Yeah.
What's some of the biggest things that you
I
deal
mean, I
with?
think people think, oh, it just happens in the urban areas. Oh, it only happens to Black girls. Oh, it only happens to poor girls or people who live in the ghetto. No, not at all. Again, human trafficking is found in all 72 counties of Wisconsin. The majority of the people that I work with, it's diverse. There are people who are from the tribe. There are Caucasian
Yeah.
women and girls.
Mm.
There are Black. There are Indian. There are Latino. I mean, and so there is no color. There is no age, and there is no community that's not affected by this.
What about gender? We kind of talked about that a little bit about
Yeah.
up the break. I'm a mom of two sons,
Yeah.
and that's not something that I always like concern myself with. But I'm understanding that young men are young and older men as well. Are they impacted?
Young men and also the LGBTQ community as well.
Oh.
And so that's why the education part is really important. It's just not girls,
Yeah.
but boys are finding themselves victims as well.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Carla, we see you on, but I think you made a great point that we want to talk about. We just kind of started out with ICE, but like specifically on the reservations for some of our young
Mhm.
indigenous people, there's very little protection for them. So I
Yeah.
love how you have the ability to go out and to be able to deal with so many different populations. Caller, you're on the check-in. You have a comment or a question?
Hi, I have a comment, and I just want to give a shout out to Chandra and what she's doing. I've been knowing her for many, many years, and I met her through the church, actually,
Oh,
as a young person. And I mean, it's so needed. I also, in my doing activities throughout the community, meet with people who have been able to have a new life by coming through programs of support mechanisms that have helped them through to get out of sex trafficking. And so I want to just give her a shout out. She is absolutely amazing. She's always had a care for ladies and always had a care to be able to, you know, go the extra mile to make women beautiful. So my name is Millie Kobe, and I just wanted to just say that, you know, keep up the good work, and thank you all for what you do to help in this area. And there are other people I know that are doing this work that I support to just keep doing it. Like she said, one place or one person can't do it alone, but it's the team effort that is changing the lives of these women, one initiative, one intervention at a time. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Millie.
No, and I love that. I love when people call and give especially appropriate flowers, because sometimes the work is hard and you're like, am I making a difference? Am I doing this after all of the work? And you see it, it's just sometimes something frustrating. So thank you for not only recognizing her, but everybody who works in
Yeah.
this field, because it's not easy. But one of the things that she said that I thought was so beautiful was she talked about the other side, because sometimes you're in it,
Yeah.
you get caught up in it, and then you say, okay, I want to come out, but it's so much stigma, it's so much like, how do I go back in and erase some of these thoughts and perceptions that people have? How do you do that so effectively, or how do you do it? What's some of the things that help people to make that transition?
Yeah, well, let me just say this to you. A lot of times this work is so heavy. And a lot of the victims and survivors that we work with, they say, like, while we're working with them, they're listening to us, but they're not getting everything that we get. So we deposit this incredible seed in them, right? And then after some years and maybe months, they come back around and they say, "Oh, I remember you taught us this, and I remember this and that." And so a lot of the work that we do, it's not immediate. And so we don't get gratification of saying, "Oh, we're going to help."
You're an emotional farmer.
Yeah.
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 You
I
plant
mean,
the seeds.
we're planting the seeds, and then years later they come back. And so that is like, that's what keeps me going. Like the work that we do right now, I may not see the direct benefits of it. I may not see all of my hard labor, but later down the line, they're coming back. Because we've done our work, laying that seed.
And you know what I love too? It's like you said, like, I don't do this alone. And almost like biblical, like one plants and one waters, God gives increase. So you say, hey, it's all done in conjunction. I think my biggest thing that I want to ask right now, like based on what you just said, is when you see the young ladies and you see them going down the wrong step, but it's only so much you can do. How do you deal with that? Because we talk about like the feeling like, man, am I making a difference? But also the wear and tear that takes on you personally. What are the self-care things that you do? Maybe you can tell the other people working, say, if we're going to stay in this game to help people stay out, how do we keep ourselves together?
Secondary trauma is real.
It is. It is.
It's real. And so hearing their stories, working through their traumas, helping them, it does take a toll on us. And so I'm a very, I would say, spiritual person. I spend a lot of time in prayer, sometimes in self-isolation, because that gives me my strength. And then the things that I like to do for myself personally is just really taking care of myself physically, because it gives me strength, but then also traveling, just all the like the girly kind of fun things, but really self-care is really important because not only the physical, but the mental as well. And so just making sure that I have time away from the work that I do, but also my heart is always near the work that I do as well. And so I really encourage the other practitioners to take care of yourself, because you can't pour from an empty cup.
I just retyped on Facebook what you said. So when you saw me typing, I just put secondary trauma is real. So people understand when you do this work, if you don't do the self-care, you're not going to be able to continue.
And I was just going to say that analogy of filling your own cup is like so important, because it's hard to pour from an empty cup. Right. And so I love that you're actually being really intentional about doing what makes you full. And that's going to be different for somebody else that's doing the work. You really pinpointed some really key things that's going to refuel you. And so we need you to be fueled, because you talk about how you make sure that the young ladies are aware of things. You make sure that they're educated. I want to like dig into that whole education piece. I know we talked a little bit about self-defense. You said they really like that. You're educating them on that. Maybe talk a little bit about the self-defense, and what other things are you actually like specific things that you're educating the young ladies on?
Yeah. And so one of the biggest thing is healthy relationships. They have to identify and know what a healthy relationship is, because if you don't, that's the start.
Yes.
That's it. A healthy relationship and boundaries. That's where it starts. And so all of our conversations start with that. Like, what does a healthy relationship look like?
Well, give me a red flag. I'm gonna stop you right there.
Okay.
Healthy relationship. I'm in one and I'm thinking it's great.
Okay.
Give me maybe one or two
I'll
things.
give you an example.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was a young lady that we're working with, and she was on the phone all the time. And that's okay. Kids are on the phone all the time. And she was yelling and arguing and crying and just going back and forth with this person on the phone. And I'm like, okay. Just all night long on her phone, crying, screaming, arguing, going back and forth. And so at some point, we observed her for like a good 48 hours, because she was new to us working with her, and she's someone that we housed. And we said, who are you talking to? And she's like, oh, this is my boyfriend. And then we said, do you know what a boyfriend is? We want just break it down.
Yes.
So we started talking about what a boyfriend is to her, and we told her like what we thought was a boyfriend. What is a boyfriend? And then we start talking about like, well, why do you feel the way you feel talking to this person? And so she was telling us, and we're like, what about this is not healthy for you. It's exhausting.
Yes.
It's giving you anxiety. You're depressed. So we start explaining to her
Yeah.
like what is a healthy
Healthy.
relationship and why you need to have boundaries.
Mhm.
Because if you don't have those boundaries, you're crying, you can't get up for school because he was grooming her.
Grooming.
And so it's just the basics. It's like the basics of us teaching our youth, boys and girls,
Girls.
what is a healthy relationship and what do boundaries look like? Because as you both
Yeah.
know, if you don't learn it now, you're gonna learn it later.
Yeah.
You're gonna be grown
And
not
learn the
having a healthy
hard way.
relationship.
There
Yeah.
you go.
And here we go.
And
With
then
some of
that
the things that
cycles
are
it.
going
Right.
on.
There you
it's
go.
It's a treacherous cycle.
There you go.
So that's why you see human trafficking, you see domestic violence,
Violence.
all of it.
And it's all
Gotcha.
interrelated in
It's
in
all
that nature. I just want to give a shout out to Lee Sidney, to Evangelist Shirley Carter, to Ratonda Smith, to Kelly Felder. These are some of the people who are listening in. We just want to thank you for listening. One of the comments has said, this was something that's traumatized our family for a while. And the person has a niece, and they said they want them to share their story and to work in the field. Tell me, what's the pros and cons of that for a person who's caught up in it, maybe not ready to tell their story?
Yeah, those are people that we say in this field who have lived experience.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so anyone who has lived experience, it's really them working through their emotions, them working, well, we always say that working with a therapist is,
Yeah.
they know when the time is for them to come out and tell their story.
Yeah.
Like there's not one person.
No formula for it.
There's no
It's
formula.
different for everyone.
Yeah.
And if you never
Because-
want to,
And you never
Yeah.
do. And so it'd be great like if she was willing to do it, but it's really on her time frame because some people are not ready to tell their story.
Right.
And it's a process.
And would you agree that sometimes even pushing someone to tell the story when they're not ready,
Yeah,
can-
that's not
it could be
good.
a setback as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
You have to. And so we've been fortunate because we've been housing youth that have been victims and survivors of human trafficking since 2014, 2015. Now that population, they're like in their 20s. It's like they're in their late 20s. And now they want to tell
starting to
their story.
understand. Yeah.
So they come to us. They'll come to someone like me and they'll say, "Oh, Miss Cooper, I want to tell my story. Are you sure?" So I'll talk to them.
Hold on one second. I just want you to get used to hearing Dr. Cooper. I know you got to say Miss Cooper, but I'm going to say Dr. Cooper. We're going to speak it into the universe.
So we give them a platform to
Okay.
start allowing them to tell their stories.
Oh.
And it's received very well because when youth can hear the stories of people that they perceive that are relatable. It's one thing if I'm telling them the story
Yeah.
about human
Mhm.
trafficking and how to stay out of it and
Mhm.
here's the signs and the symptoms and all that. It's another thing if you're sitting next to me,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
you're that person and you remember what you did at 16, 17, 18 and now you're 26
Mhm.
or you're 25. And so we've been able to really harness those kind of relationships, make it a safe place, not only for the kids that we are educating, but also for that survivor.
Right. I say not too long out of the game.
Yep.
Mhm.
They were just in it just a little bit
Yeah.
ago, right? But now they're out. And so
Yeah.
that's like makes the younger really
Yeah.
more interested in hearing what they
And
want to
how
say.
we came up with this event was that I felt as though like there are so many conferences, there's so many educational classes for adults,
Yeah.
but who's doing it for the
Yeah.
kids? Like who's teaching them? And so like I said that this is like I'm obligated to go back and reach out and say this is for you guys. Because it doesn't matter if I know. I can
Yeah.
go to 1,001 conferences
Mhm.
across the country, which they're great, right?
Yeah.
But like, what am I doing here at home?
So speaking of that, can
Yeah.
you tell us about? We keep talking about. I got my little new bracelet on.
Yeah, that's
Stay
mine.
out the
I didn't
game.
put it on,
Is
but I'm
that
about to
yours?
put it on.
Look,
Yeah.
stay out the game. Can you tell us a little bit about what this event
Uh-huh.
is? When is it going to take place? Give us some
So
details.
this event is Stay Out the Game one-on-one, and it's this Saturday from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock. It's at No Studios. It's free. There is no registration.
Hey, rewind.
Hey,
There's
wait-
no
wait a minute.
excuse. Just come
Wait a
on.
minute. You said free?
It's
Free
free.
99.
Free.
That's what
Free
we like to
99.
hear.
So free breakfast, free lunch,
Oh,
free gear, clothes. We
Yeah.
have book bags, free cute little blue cookies that we're giving out as well. And so I always say there's free gear, and then you'll be able to also access the Stay Out the Game app as well. The app is going to be so crucial because while the event is going to be nice, you know, with the workshops
Yeah.
and the self-defense, and they'll see different experts there, they'll see some survivors there as well that they can talk to and just really hands-on. But what happens when they go home?
yeah. No, I know we got
What
a
happens when they
caller
go home?
on, but we're gonna come back because I wanted you to say something. You had said something before, like I could say this, but it's better for those, maybe for somebody to hear from somebody who was in the game. But for the people who are listening, I know we've talked about this sometimes, but if somebody's listening, say, I need to be reminded, what are some of the signs and symptoms? Because I know whenever me
Yeah.
and my daughter have an argument, I get nervous because like this is the time she's vulnerable. Somebody can come in. But
Mhm.
what are
That's
some
a
of
good question.
those signs and symptoms where you say, if you're seeing this, like you talked about the young lady on the
Yeah.
phone, for the people to listen to say, let me keep my eyes open so I can recognize some things going on right underneath my nose, under my roof.
I think you have to watch youth that are being very distant.
Mm.
If they're just trying, like, they just want to just stay away from mom and dad. They don't really want to talk to you that much. You need to figure out like what's going on with that.
Mhm.
Excessive use online.
Yeah.
Like it's our job. Like if you have a child that you give them an iPad and you give them a
Mhm.
phone, you probably should be monitoring
Yeah.
them. So that excessive use in that area. For some youth, running away. So that running away, like
Yeah.
some youth are gone for days, and then some youth are like gone for hours,
Yeah.
like monitoring that. And then like any like new friends.
Mm.
And then also like, what are they bringing home?
Come on.
Oh,
Because
that's
that's that
nice.
extra money from
You
the
got a
makeup.
nice, yeah, you got your nails done, some new makeup,
Yeah.
You got some Jordans
Yeah.
for the boys. Where'd you get this kind of stuff? Also, a lot of kids are getting like things from Amazon and
Yeah.
Temu. Who bought that for you?
Mhm.
Things, packages come to
Yeah.
your house. Food, like a lot of kids are getting like the different Uber Eats and
Yeah.
DoorDash. Like,
Yeah.
who bought this for you? Some kids are the Uber rides. Like, who's paying for these Uber
Yeah.
rides? Like, as parents, like we need to be looking, as parents and caregivers, you need to be looking at all of that
Right.
and how it's tied, because it's tied to somebody
Yeah.
and something.
And
And so, is it a grown person doing this for you? Are they grooming your child? So there's a lot of things that you need to look at.
so are parents able to come to this with their children for this?
Absolutely. This is not just for our youth, boys and girls, but it's for parents, it's for caregivers, it's for community leaders. Different people come just because they want to be there and they want to
To
get the
support.
education. So it's open to everybody.
Hey, listen.
And we're watching too. So if you think you're a predator coming to our event, we have people watching.
Hey,
So that's not going to happen.
listen, we have a break that's coming up. Callers, we see you on. We're going to get back to you on the other side. So take a deep breath. And between these breaths, we're going to keep talking about this, how to stay out of the game 101. We'll be right back on WNOV 860 AM. Hey, welcome back to the check-in. This is Kweku Dr.Alisia and Dr. Alisia Moutry with Chandra Cooper. We're talking about stay out of the game 101. Caller, we'd like to thank you for holding on so long. We're going to put you on right away. You got a question or a comment?
Yes, I have. Hold on a minute. Yes, I was just I was listening with you guys to talk about human trafficking,
Yes.
and I remember I was speaking to somebody who was from well, anyway, I don't know what country in Latin America she was from. She speaks Spanish, and she was speaking to some of the people, when they were coming up here, and they had to pay money to get inside the country. And she was just saying that it was. She was speaking to some of the people. Once they pay their 5,000, 6,000, whatever they're going to pay, they get to the border, and all of a sudden they tell them they got to pay another $2,000. And see, so what happens? A lot of these people want to get involved with human trafficking, and she just said it is a terrible road for a lot of these Latin American women because they don't speak the language in this country, and that's what she was just saying right there. And she was just saying that all these terrible things are happening to them. But like I said, that like the human trafficking and everything. Did you guys follow me?
Yeah, 100%. And we kind of alluded to the Super Bowl being the #1 place for human trafficking. And when you start talking about the Olympic Games that's coming up, like where you have a lot of this international travel, and then you see people in these desperate positions.
No. What I was getting to is I was just saying that when people are coming up legally to the country, undocumented people, you're talking about ICE. And she says these people are coming up. They want to get to America, and so they had to pay $5,000 to get to the country. They get to the border, and then all of a sudden they said, "You got to give me another $2,000." And he says, "Whatever, I don't have $2,000." So the person tells him, "I know where your family is." So they get involved with the human trafficking, sex trafficking from there. And a lot of women, they're just terrible predicament because they're in this bad situation because they're in the country illegally. They don't speak English, and that's what. And also probably that too. And a lot of these women, they're sent around the country and everything else like that too.
Yes, so I've heard of similar situations as well, and I think that those people they end up going into labor trafficking, which is very prevalent in the Latino community, and so I've heard of that as well. That has happened, and it's very unfortunate because supposedly, the people they raise all of this money, they save a lot of money. They're working with someone who brings them over. Sometimes it's in boats and things like that. It usually happens in that southern hemisphere, like in Florida and that kind of area, and they come up and then they go into labor trafficking. And so I have heard of that, sir. Yes.
Yeah, she was just saying that, and she was just saying that's why they had to do something about the immigration thing because she said it was just getting so bad when they're letting so many people come in. And he was mentioned ICE, and they like I said, there needs to be some kind of enforcement to prevent these kind of things.
No.
And but yeah.
No, we thank you for that call because that's what we say, and that's why you say stay out of the game 101. This is the playbook.
Yeah.
Looking how it works in so many places. Thanks for calling the check-in. I know we got another call.
We appreciate you. Thanks.
Yeah, you're on the check-in. You have a question or a comment?
Good morning.
Good morning.
You know what? That's why men should stand up. I now feel sorry for the people from all the cities, but I would take in somebody, I wouldn't want to fool with them or nothing, but just to isolate them because why these people coming here trying to work and have a better living, they have to be degraded, whatever. Donald Trump is a low down, dirty dog. If you ain't white, you ain't right with him. So it just is this. Men who have kids here in the city, you go out there, you want to lay and want to play. Be a man and take care of your kids. Be a man. Be a father. And be a man about taking care of your business.
All right.
But this is a sad story.
No. And I think this is the beauty of this story, though, because it is a sad story. It is sad predicaments. But when you have people who have programs like Stay in the Game. This is what
stay out of the game. Stay out of it.
101. And this the athlete because we always say stay in the game. So it's like moving that hat. So I apologize. But when we talk about stay out of the game, that's why it's so important to have people who are doing this on a regular basis. So it gives people hope, because people will get caught up, as you said, but it also saying there is hope, and then there's preventative. So if we can do some things beforehand, some people we don't even have to get there. What has been one of the most rewarding situations, and you don't have to say a specific name or anything like that, but where you say, I know you talked about the young girls who come back later, but is there a specific one that comes up where you say, this is why I do what I do?
Yeah. Um, Anytime when the young ladies that we have worked with, when they resurface back and they're like, oh, I'm doing this, Miss Cooper, or I'm doing that. And I think what's been really rewarding the past couple of years is the young people that I've worked with, that they come back into the program and they've worked with us.
Yeah.
And so I never thought about that. I never thought about in this whole process when we started the housing platform. The organization started in 2009, but the housing platform started in 2014. I never thought that now in 2026 and 2025 that I would have some of those young people that we work with for so many years. They've gone through healing, they're still healing, but then they come back and they work with us. And then they're working with the youth, like inside of our housing platform or in our program, or we can invite them to be a guest speaker. So it's like this full circle moment, which I love.
Oh, I
Because
love that too.
it's
That
like
goes
our
almost
job.
goes back to that seed that you planted.
Yeah.
You planted it, and then look how it bloomed, and it bloomed
Yeah.
even more. I was blooming and planting it just
Yeah.
to get you out the game,
Yep.
but then all of a sudden that plant bloomed, and
Yep.
then you're on the team.
Yep.
Oh my
You're on the
goodness, I
team.
absolutely love that.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna just say it 3 times. Stay out of the game. Stay out of the
Stay
game.
out the
Stay out of
game.
the
Stay
game.
out the game.
101,
That's our
please.
chant.
You said one of the sessions that you like the best is the physical fitness, where we do all of this kind of wellness, where we're going to protect ourselves. What is it about the self-defense that strikes a chord with all of the young ladies?
The boys and the girls, they like the self-defense class. It's taught by Fred Muhammad.
Oh,
Yep.
good
And
man,
he's
good
been
brother.
working with us for like over 5
Yeah.
years. And so thank you, Fred. Shout out to Fred and his business. But I think they just like knowing how to protect themselves, and he makes it easy. He just shows them techniques. And
Yeah.
so I think, they're listening to a lot of hard material, and then that's their break where they can just kind of be free, but then also learn how to protect themselves. And so they enjoy that class. Yeah.
I love on your flyer. Again, we're talking about an event that's happening. It's called Stay Out the Game 101, Human Trafficking Awareness and Prevention event happening January 17th, this Saturday from 9 to 1 in No Studios, 1037 West McKinley Avenue. But on the flyer, there was something that I'm reading. It says, learn about the negative impact of trafficking, connect with experts, and learn the dangers. Empower yourself with self-defense class. I love that part about empowering self, because you can work with them all day, but
Yep.
I'm giving you the tools so that you can take care of yourself when you're not in my presence and when you're not with me. Absolutely love that. When you think about this is going to be for ages 11 through 17, can you just give me an idea of I decide to come, what can I expect when I get there?
It's going to be a warm environment. It's going to be educational. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. I think that they're going to walk away feeling empowered.
Yeah.
They're going to walk away feeling like, you know what? I know what human trafficking is, and I know how to stay away from it. And I also know how to go and report it. So they will know how to go and report this as well. But just overall, it's going to be an uplifting, inspiring, and empowering event for our community, not only just for our young people, but for parents and caregivers and anyone who'd like to come and learn more about how to stay out the game.
I love that. And let's be reminded, this is a free event.
Yes.
And I understand there's going to be food, breakfast, lunch. Let's get your folks out. It's really going to be an amazing event, and I'm looking forward to hearing about it as well.
Yes.
And we're going to post more on it. Yeah, one thing I tell you.
Yes. I do want to say this because I found this quote and I was like, oh, this is so important to say, but also I put it in our curriculum that I wrote as well. But it says, if you do not know your worth, someone else will give you a price tag.
Say that one more time.
Yeah.
If you do not know your worth, someone else will give you a price tag.
Can you just kind of come back and show your shirt?
Yeah.
Because when we see that, this the scan code
there we go.
on the thing. Can you get that, Clark? Because when we start to talk about this is what we tell people. It's like, we got a price, and your price is priceless. So don't let somebody make you cheap. Don't let somebody sell you for something that you're not. And I love the one caller where he talked about the fathers or the men standing up, because I think a lot of the times when we talk about any type of dysfunctionality, like within the homes, that's what allows a person to be able to hear from other people, whether it's gang activity, selling drugs or whatnot, because we all want connectivity. We all want to be with someone. And if we can't have it in a positive way, we're going to find it in any way that we can. So we want to make sure that we're doing more preventative things than having to do it on the back end. But we're grateful that we have something and stay out of the game.
And we want people to know that they are not for sale.
Yeah.
That's why we have this barcode here. You're not for sale.
Absolutely.
You're not for sale.
That's when you ring it at the store and it don't come up. Say, I need some help. And the help comes to give you exactly what you want. So that. I look at the time and I see we're ticking down. So what I want to do, I said, I'm gonna call you Dr. Cooper. I know you said you reaching towards it, but we just gonna keep speaking it to an existence. Can you tell the people like the things, I know you just gave the quote, but something that you really want to leave on their ear and the motivation on why, if they say, I want to come, but debating, I don't think I'm gonna come, but why they really need to come.
I think that this is a great opportunity for you to allow your children to come to this event, because you don't have to do anything. We're going to do all the work. But you want to arm your children. You want to arm young people with the knowledge of what human trafficking is, because you'd be remiss if something happened to your child in the next few months or the next year. And you say, I should have had them go to that event. So this is a free opportunity. It is our responsibility to educate our children. It's our responsibility to arm them with knowledge. And so why not let them come? Why not?
And we talked a little bit about, we talked about filling the cup, your own cup, right? So we're talking about arming our children. Make sure you arm yourself so that when you are approached with some things in your own household, you're aware, you've seen some signs, and you know exactly what to do about it.
It's our responsibility. Nobody's coming to save us. Nobody's coming to help us.
You said, don't wait for your daughter. Don't wait for your son. If we see it out here, that is our son. That is our daughter. So even if it's not in your home, but it's in our community, it's affecting us. Sister Cooper, I just want to say thank you for coming on. Thank you for all what you do. Stay out of the game one-on-one. Make sure you look at our website on WNOV. We're going to put up all the information so that you can see it. Hey, tune in next week. We're going to have Katrina Moore coming in. She's a financial analyst. She's going to be talking about us. We talk about like this whole tax season, how to get your money right, how to make sure that you don't want the government coming after you with them taxes.
And what could you be doing right now? Don't wait until April 15th, right?
Because I know you didn't got all of your forms in and whatnot like that.
Hopefully.
Because people I know like Jermaine be waiting to April 15th.
Yes, sir. Last minute, I'm going to do 110. Do 110 to get it done.
Oh, so we're going to make sure you listening in next week.
So we say that, no, when we say we're going to check in, we say we're going to check in on you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, but we also checking in financially, because this is one of the things that causes stress when we don't do what we're supposed to do financially. So I just want to thank Jermaine Clark making the show go.
Yes, sir.
Thank Dr.Alisia Moutry, the co-host with the most. Hey, I'm going to leave you with the words of my maternal grandmother. The best way to heal yourself is to help others. We love you, Milwaukee. We'll see you.